My routine has been pretty simple. I've pared it down just because I really want to let these see what these products can do on their own. Um, Not to say that you can't use them with other products, but I just kind of want to see the effects of them and just kind of let them um, just kind of stand out there by themselves before I start really integrating other products. I know one thing I'm excited to do, hopefully next week or maybe the next week after that, I'm not sure, is to add like Dorian Gray serum. I think it may have been Natalie who, hey Dawn, I think it was Natalie that said that the apple cider is like really good when you use Dorian Gray serum with it. So I really want to play with it, but I kind of want to wait a couple weeks before I start doing all that. Just kind of get a feel for how the products are working on their own. But right now my AM routine includes an aloe and oat um, foaming cleanser. I think Megan mentioned this in one of her posts before, but that the aloe and oat foams a lot more than I was expecting. It's the only one I hadn't used, but when Adeline did the bamboo for the summer box, that really foamed up, and so I was a little surprised when, you know, 'cause it's supposed to be like the first foaming cleanser, that when that one came out with when I got the aloe and oat and seeing how much it foams, I was actually a little surprised. A little surprised, but I do aloe and oat, and I do tea tree beauty water, and then I do the apple cider serum, and then I do some Ekaterina on top of that, and that's for AM. Now, I know I've told y'all before, and I'm gonna say it again, I don't use any foundation or foundation like products. I use some concealer to conceal some of these bumps a little bit because they're really red, but I mean, I just use a little dabs of it on here and just under eye concealer. But as far as like a foundation, like a skin smooth, you know, like an all over face foundation, the amount of foam depends on the batch. Okay, okay, well that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense actually. I'm trying to adjust my light here so maybe it can get a little bit brighter. But yeah, so that's what I use during the day. I do wear makeup today. I didn't do my eyes or really anything. I just put a little bit of concealer and a little bit of blush. It's usually just like my quick day routine. But then on the evening, as far as my makeup goes, but then in the evening when I come home and I'm ready to just wash the day off, I use the witht, so I do a really good oil cleanse. And Dawn had the right idea the other day, and this is part of my ritual with my skincare, is when I take a shower, and I think Marissa's the one, or I can't remember who, but somebody, but I saw it from Marissa. Somebody said they use a towel to wash off the oil cleanser. So what I'll do is I'll soak a towel as hot as I can and just kind of lay it over my face and just kind of feel my face melt off. And when I say my face, I mean like all the makeup and all that stuff melt off, and then just kind of use it to wipe everything else off. So I use the vacuum cleansing oil, and then I use the aloe and oat, and I've been using my witch's brew every day, and I'm starting to get a little anxiety because it's looking kind of low. So I'm thinking that this next week I'm just going to use it like every other day. But I use witch's brew and then the botanical acid toner, and in the evenings I use my pumpkin spice latte, and then I top it off with the Dorian Gray beauty oil. Now I didn't mention, but I do use the anti-aging eye gel oil both day and night. I was using the Bright Eyes, but that seems to pill a little bit. So if I do use it every now and again, it might be at night, but for the most part I've been sticking to the eye gel, anti-aging eye gel oil. So that's been my AM and my PM routine. The changes that I've noticed in my skin, I mean, it's only been a week, so the biggest changes, yes, I know, Dawn, I'm starting to get a little freaked out. I'm like, how can I order more? I don't know. But the changes that I've noticed, like I said, it's only been a week, so it's not like dramatic changes, but there have been some really good changes to my skin, and mainly with the texture. I feel like there's a lot of bumps and a lot of the millia that, you know, just doesn't come out very easily. And especially in like this area, right? I have noticed that it's less prominent, and it's not, there are fewer bumps, and they're smaller, the bumps that are there. And yes, I know we have 3 more weeks to go. I'm gonna pace myself next week. um, but um, but yeah, the bumps are smoother, they're smaller, they're lesser. So I mean, I think that's the biggest change that I've noticed in my skin this week, and I'm very happy about that, because there's a lot of bumps like in here. And I've noticed the biggest change was in here, because I had a lot of these little bumps in here, like maybe ingrowns from, you know, getting my eyebrows done or whatever. But there's been quite a few changes in the texture of my skin that I'm very, very happy with. um, they really should last long. And it's really not that low, Natalie. The products are really not that low. I guess I'm just, you know, kind of, just like I said, freaking out because it's full, and then all of a sudden a week later it's just like, whoa, it's not even halfway there yet, right? But yeah, I'm gonna start doing every other day instead of every day. Anybody, I don't know if anybody's noticed my skin. I work with a bunch of dudes. I work in sales, and I work in a shop, and there's a bunch of guys there. So it's not like the guys are ever gonna really notice, like, oh, hey, what's going on with your skin or anything like that. I don't think they would ever say that. But I do hang out with quite a few moms on my son's football team at football practice. And one of the moms this weekend, she knew about, because we're friends on Facebook, so she knew that I was applying to be a fall box reviewer, and she asked me, yeah, it feels low, you're right, Dawn. But anyway, she asked me, she was like, so what's the name of the product? She's like, you know, what is it that you're using on your face? Like, she didn't come out and like say, oh wow, are you using the stuff yet? Or she didn't really, you know, she did ask, but she didn't really say like, oh, I've noticed a change. But she, just the fact that she was asking what it was and what I was doing kind of made me feel like maybe she's noticed maybe a little bit of a change in the texture. So I'm kind of hoping that's what the questions were about. And so that's about it. I mean, I don't hang out with a whole lot of people outside of work and football. But yeah, the kids or the husband, nobody's really asked either. I don't think they pay attention to me enough to to care. But I do plan on changing it next week. Yes. I do plan on changing it next week. I'm hoping, like I said, to use the Dorian Gray serum underneath. And I think the biggest change I'm going to make next week is not just integrating a few more products, SB products, but also just changing when I use the current products. Like, I want to use the apple cider vinegar in the day, and maybe the pumpkin spice latte, or vice versa, right? Use the apple cider serum. I keep saying vinegar. I'm so sorry, guys. I keep messing that up. Alan's gonna be so mad at me. I'm gonna put that on at night, and then use the pumpkin spice during the day next week, and along with maybe, like I said, using some other SB products, like yes, no vinegar, no vinegar. I'm so sorry. Using some other products like the Dorian Gray serum, and then, you know, switching my masks out like every other day, because I like to mask every day. I really do. It really depends on what my skin is crying for that day, is how I decide what mask to use. So I think I'm going to start doing that too. My favorite product so far, actually there's two. There's two, and it's the aloe and oat. The aloe and oat, like, I really feel like my skin's starting to change, and I'm trying to figure out what it is that's doing, making that change. I don't know if it's the cleanser or if it's just the Ekaterina that I've been using every year, or just a combination of the whole box. But So far the aloe and oat, like I said, I was just really surprised with how much it actually foams. And so, you know, all the black stuff I put on my eyes, when I use the aloe and oat after the vacuum cleaner oil, it's just like, or the vacuum cleansing oil, so whatever that doesn't get, the aloe and oat will just wipe it off for sure. And it's just completely fresh and clean. My skin doesn't feel dry. Not that any of Adeline's products ever made me feel dry, but it just feels especially hydrated when I wash my face. So the aloe and oat, and then the Merlot sparkles. I'm really liking it because I use lipstick all the time, like almost every day, and I like the mattes, the liquid matte lipsticks, and those are especially drying. So this sparkles is really helping like rehydrate my lips after using the matte lipsticks, the liquid matte lipsticks. So that really helps me. Sometimes I even use it under it, just depending if I'm using a red or a burgundy color. I'll use it underneath it to kind of help them stay hydrated. But yes, the aloe and oat cleanser has been my favorite so far, and the Merlot Sparkles lip tint. It's really moisturizing. So those are the two exceptional products that I like. And just like I said about my ritual to self-care and relaxation. So part of what I've been doing, yes, Marissa, the aloe and oats, what you started your kids on, yeah, I can see that, and it's really hydrating, and the Merlot lip tint is beautiful. It really is. I think I've gotten a couple compliments on that. I didn't mention that before, but I have had quite a few compliments on that with the ladies at football. So maybe that's why they asked too, I'm not sure, but but anybody that knows me because of my lipstick. Like in grad school, I had, you know, just a couple people that I was like partners with at every single project, just because I knew they had the same work ethic that I had. And so anyway, sometimes we'd have other classes, and so they would be like, "Oh, you're the girl." Like they would tell my friends or my partners, they'd be like, "Oh, you hang out with the girl with the lipsticks, right?" And so I really like lipstick. So yeah, the Merlot lip tint has really been a rescue sort of item for me from my lipstick habit. But my ritual, my self-care, relaxation. So part of what I decided to do when I started the review process on the box was also to engage in other self-care aspects, not just my skincare. And mainly was, and a big reason for that was because of how sick I got a few weeks ago, that I ended up, you know, in the hospital for, you know, it was the emergency room for a few hours, but still, it really put me to just start engaging in relaxing and more relaxing activities and stuff like that. So part of that I felt like was to start exercising and just start releasing some natural endorphins here. I know Adeline posted about it earlier, and I was like, yes, like I've been trying to run around and exercise and do stuff like that too, to kind of, and it feels really good because when I'm done, I just wash my face with the aloe and oat, and I love it. It's just really good. It's like a good routine that I'm settling into since becoming a reviewer. So thank you everybody for letting me be a reviewer for this box. I'm really happy about it, and I just really hope that I do it justice as far as the reviews for you guys. You know, if any questions you have, or anything that you want to know about it, we can talk about it, or if you can, you know, just mention in the comments, you know, I can try to get back with it. But the last thing, if there's been anything that's unexpected as far as with the box, I think I didn't realize how addicting Sleeping Beauty oil was for me. It was a slight addiction problem there for me. Like Sleeping Beauty oil, the scent of it triggered like sleep for me for so long, that not having it now, I'm just like, okay, I need to have my Sleeping Beauty oil. But it's just, I guess it was just kind of getting out of my comfort zone a little bit. Getting out of my comfort zone a little bit with the products, and just, you know, kind of sticking to the the products that are in there for the routine. So I'm really happy with the routine so far and what it's done for me. So we'll see how things progress. I'm really excited about it. So if there's no questions, I'll just end it here. But thank you everybody for tuning in. And if you have any questions, just leave it in the comment, and maybe I'll reply to them later when I see them. So again, I am not being paid by Sabbatical Beauty or for my review. The only thing that was given to me was the box for my honest opinion. And if you're catching the replay on YouTube, please like and subscribe to Sabbatical Beauty channel. Bye y'all.